What up? It's your boy Zeke. Let's talk about Kevin Stefanski. Now, for preference, this video is being recorded prior to the week 3 game against the Green Bay Packers. So, let's just start with a little bit of Kevin Stefanski. Uh, I'm a Kevin Stefanski guy. Whew, sorry. I'm a Kevin Stefanski guy, but let's see where he stacks up. So, through six NFL, well, five plus NFL seasons. His record sits at 40 and 46. He has two playoff appearances, three games. He's 1-2 in those games. A lot of people will say he hasn't won a playoff game, but that's kind of insane to me because they were calling his plays. They were running his system. It was his team. So he's 1-2 in the playoffs in my books, at least. And obviously, 3-14 last year, 0-2 this year. There's so many different agendas when it comes to Kevin Stefanski. You got the pro Kevin guys, you got the anti Kevin guys, and for various reasons. Overall, I think Kevin Stefanski is a good coach. I think he's a middle of the pack probably coach in comparison to the rest of the league. The thing that I don't like is he gets a lot of shots because people say he's supposed to be an offensive guru. Let's just break that theory down already. Um, the word guru is for coaches, like generational is for prospects. It's being too loosely used. Is Stefanski an offensive guru? No. If there's any offensive gurus, there's no more than five in the NFL. The offensive gurus you got is the OG, the triple OG, Big Red, Andy Reid, Sean McVay, I would say would be a part of that because what he started doing with a lot of the motions and stuff, and you can see a lot of his tree being successful and being creative. Um, I say him, Kyle Shanahan, who kind of was the original, I guess, even before Sean McVay. Uh, those three for sure. Outside of that, you start getting into murky waters. So I said five, so it's probably closer to three, quote unquote, offensive gurus that are in the game. I really like what Kevin O'Connell does, though. I really do. I don't know if he's a guru, but he's like that next tier of play caller. I think Kevin Stefanski's a good play caller. I would like to see Kevin Stefanski succeed in Cleveland. Let's go positives and negatives. I think from a positive standpoint, he's brought stability to Cleveland that we haven't had since we've been back in Cleveland. Obviously, he's making it to year six. I don't know the numbers, but I'm pretty sure he's the longest tenured coach since '99. Um, and I think he's done a pretty decent job with navigating all of the extra BS that comes with Cleveland. My caveat with him is that he's never had a normal season. And people will say it's the NFL, there's never a normal season. And by normal season, I don't mean there's no adversity. I mean it's the normal adversity that teams deal with, which is like injuries. That's normal. Um, so walk with me, talk with me. In 2020, you had Stefanski. He had to deal with COVID, which everybody did. That was your main thing, your issue. 2021, you had the Baker shoulder injury, and Baker wanted to play, so you played him, and he was pretty inconsistent, really because the shoulder injury, plus the Odell Beckham drama, which was, he didn't want to he was upset. He wasn't getting the ball. His dad dropped the tape. And I think later that year, Kareem Hunt's dad chimed in, if I'm not too mistaken. 2022 was the Deshaun Watson trade. So that suspension and all of the baggage and stuff that came around with that. 2023 was five quarterbacks that he had to play or utilize. Um, and the devastating Nick Chubb injury, which, like I said, injuries are normal, but like that was just different. Um, and then last year, Deshaun Washington, Deshaun Watson basically being super washed. Um, plus trying to remake the offense in his image. Uh, so a lot of stuff that just didn't work. Um, and through all of that, I will say only two winning seasons. But up until last year, the floor for the Browns was higher than it's ever been. Like, so he went 11 and 5, 8 and 9, 7 and 10, 11 and 6 prior to last season. And so with your floor being 7 wins is something that the Browns have never seen, at least not in modern day. The floor was more like the 3 and 14 that they had last year. And we've seen 0 and 16. I think things that Kevin does well is have the team ready to play, keeps the team competitive, and that continuity that he brings or continues to bring as the days and the years go by. Now, some things that I don't like about Kevin, and it's more of an organizational, but he's the head coach, so it falls on him. Is how they've handled like it's too many times where it's been like players don't know that they're playing until the day of and they're not ready. Like DTR 2 years ago when he got thrust into that Baltimore game, and then like the second time he started, he was like, I didn't know I was starting until like yesterday. Like that type of stuff can't happen. Not only can it not happen, it can't be said. Um, so that lack of preparation at times. A lot of time I know people get upset because he doesn't talk to the media or he doesn't give the media anything, but like he doesn't owe the media or the fans anything, in my opinion. And that's like any coach in any profession. When it comes to talking to the media, like they do that because they're obligated to. That doesn't mean they have to give you anything. And just the way the injuries have been handled in general. He should have just shut Baker down. This is obviously in retrospect. Should have shut Baker down. The whole Deshaun Watson saga. Last offseason, the Dewan slash Jed slash Conklin injury stuff is real muddied. Like they do give you something from a messaging standpoint, but it's weird. And let's see Mike Hall. So like the injuries and how those are handled. And if you're gonna tell us something, allow it to be accurate. And like I said, even Watson, because like Watson's gonna play. Oh yeah, he's good. And then it was like, oh, he's gonna play after San Francisco or after the bye week. Then it's like, oh, he's gonna play after San Francisco. And like it just never came to fruition. Um, those are some I think his biggest downfalls. And something else is certain things we just can't seem to figure out like why his special teams been bad essentially his whole tenure or a good portion of it. Not necessarily the kicker because kickers suck. Some kickers are good, some kickers are bad. You never find out till you get a good kicker. More so like kick coverages and kick returns. Yeah, Mike Prefer, he was trash. You let him go. You bring in Boba Ventrone, who had like one of the best units in Indy for like 3 years. You bring him to Cleveland and it's bad again. Like that doesn't make sense. And like that to me with the common theme that goes on the head coach. Uh, and then overall, I just want to see this. And I think another issue is having a decent offense. Um, in which I cut him a little bit of slack because he's been playing with Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson, who's horrible, and just really mediocre quarterbacks. Um, and you see they were able to do some good things with Jameis because he's a competent quarterback. He just really turns the ball over a lot, but he's able to make a play. Um, and even at times in 2023 with Joe Flacco, the offense was really good. And I think his rankings, his first 4 years from a standpoint was like, top half of the league. I don't think he has like maybe one top 10 season as a coach as far as offense goes. But I think this year is really going to tell us a lot about Stefanski. Um, because it literally took generationally bad quarterback play for this team to bottom out at 3 wins. From a success percentage, you had like two of the worst in the league at like 46th and 47th, something like that between DTR and Deshaun Watson, which they made up the majority of your starts last year. Um, but yeah, I think if Stefanski keeps this team competitive, you finish the season 6, 7, 8, and maybe even 9 wins, depending on how you turn the season around. And then I think he should be safe. But he can't live through another 3, 4 win season. Five is kind of borderline. And I see a lot of people saying they don't trust him and Andrew Berry to bring in and develop a quarterback for next year. I think with the right prospect, they'll be just fine. Stefanski, if you look at his history with quarterbacks, with Baker, Baker was coming off, I think, 22 touchdowns and 21 picks. And then he had like 20 plus touchdowns and like 8 picks his first year with Stefanski was trending up, and then the injury in 21 kind of derailed that. But you saw he made a jump. But like every other quarterback he's played with has just been objectively bad. Now, even Jacoby Brissett looked good, and this Browns offense was a top 10 offense with Jacoby Brissett. Fact check me on that. I'm pretty sure that's right. Um, Trying to think, because that was the Watson year. Yeah, that was 22. And quiet as kept. If you go to 2023, which I know folks don't like, but let's go to 2023 and see what this offense did with Deshaun Watson. Week one, 24 points against the Bengals and a monsoon. And give uh people try to put the asterisk next to the defense for what Joe Burrow did because they're like, oh, it's raining. You got 24 points and there was no picks, no defensive touchdowns. Week two in Pittsburgh, 22 points. Week three versus Tennessee, 27 points. By the way, that Tennessee game was the best game from number four, and we don't talk about it because the rest of his time was really bad. But the beginning of 2023 was promising, in my opinion. He had like 289. It should have been more, but they called Amari Cooper out of bounds. Um, and then let's see. And then yeah, then you had the DTR game, the PJ Walker versus Niners game. Technically, the Colts game is a game started by four, but he barely played. But PJ Walker got 39 points. Part of that's Myles Garrett, though. He wrecked that game. Uh, then 20 got 27 and then 33 in game started with number four. So in 2023, he put up 24, 22, 27, 27, 33. That's averaging like 28 points a game, 27 points a game roughly. Anyway, um, but yeah, so 2023, he was getting there, and then 2024 happened, and you had like the worst offense in the league. Until you played with a competent quarterback, which in this case was Jameis Winston. And in games that Jameis started, let's take a look. If my computer doesn't want to be crazy today. In games that Jameis started, you had 29 against the Ravens, 10 versus Chargers, 14 versus Saints, 24 versus Pittsburgh, 32 against Denver, 14 against Pittsburgh, and I think that was his last game start. So a mixed bag with competent quarterback play, but that's what 39, 53, 77, 109, 109, 123, and 123 in like 6 games. So that's about it's like 21 points a game, roughly, which you can live with backup quarterbacks. Um, yeah, so his offense has been good has been good with the talent that he's played with. When he's had bad quarterbacks, it's been bad, like really bad. But when he's had decent to good quarterbacks, it's been good. Um, so yeah, I think if you give him a good quarterback, you draft a good prospect, I think he'll be able to help develop them. People talk about DTR. DTR ain't good. He's not a good quarterback. And he was like a fourth or a fifth round pick. I don't expect him to turn a fourth or fifth round pick into a starting in the NFL, which is kind of how I feel about Dylan Gabriel, and Shador Sanders. If he does, he gets hella credit for it. If you don't, I'm not gonna knock you too much for that. Some people don't think that's fair, but that's just how I feel about that. Um, so we'll see. But I trust him and Andrew Berry to pick a quarterback and develop said quarterback because at least at the very least the talent level will be there. So we'll see. Um, but overall, I'm a Stefanski guy. I think as long as they're not like top three pick bad this year, which some people want them to be just for the draft pick, um, then he'll be safe. And he should be. And I like the continuity that we have. But if he can continue this culture where the floor is not 3 wins, the floor is closer to 6 or 7 wins, and we got to raise the ceiling. I will say he's not going to get too many more chances, but I would like to see the Browns got to find a way to become a contender, or a playoff contender at the very least, year after year after year. That won't happen until you get a quarterback. I don't care who the coach is. You need that stability. I think is what we missing. You got it at the general manager. I'll do a different video on Andrew Berry. You got it at coach. Now, if you can get it with the quarterback, the Browns will have a chance to turn around this situation that we've been left in with that faithful trade that we made in 2022. So, with that being said, I'm out.